Well, that was the very last episode. That was the Murmuring. Now, what did I think of this Cabinet of Curiosities episode? This was possibly my favourite one. This one sent a chill down my spine at some places. Now, if you've just started watching this channel since we're doing the horror stuff and the Halloween stuff, you might not notice that my original purpose of this channel was nature, and I have a big thing for nature. I love wildlife and stuff like that. So I know about murmurations and birds and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a secondary passion for me. So obviously the first beginning of this episode, you see the lady in it. I'm rubbish at remembering names. I can never remember the names of characters. Basically, she's giving this talk about murmurations, how they work, how they're used for defence and communication between birds. Now, if you don't know, murmuration is one of the most fantastic things you can see in the natural world. To see it, we get murmurations mainly with starlings in this country, but you get them all over the world. They're fantastic things to watch. So, what did I think of this episode? Apart from that, it was fantastic. Probably my favourite episode, I think. Probably the best episode so far. Now, yeah, so we start off with her giving a talk on murmurations. Then we see Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead. I can believe that. So he's obviously the husband. And they're a husband and wife team of ornithologists that go around researching birds and the like. And so they basically go to check out this murmuration on this like quiet little island. And on the island there's this house. So they go to the house and find the people that live there sort of aren't there anymore, haven't been there for a very long time, about 3 decades. And they start doing their research into murmurations. Now, the wife gets some recording equipment to listen to what the birds are doing in the murmurations. And she thinks first of all, she can hear like a voice in there. When she plays it back to her husband, she says she can't really hear anything. So I should have mentioned before is that you find out there's been a tragedy in their family, which is revealed a bit later on. Basically, they've lost a daughter, which is a horrific thing to happen to anyone. So that's obviously quite a sad story of something that's happened to them. So then we get them on the island doing research, and she hears a voice on the recording of the birds. She sort of just thinks, oh, it's nothing, blipping on the tape, and her husband's very much sort of like, doesn't believe in ghosts at all, so he's just like, that's just blip on the tape, don't worry about it. And then the birds start to roost in the house, which is very unusual for these birds. I think they're called dunlins. I don't really know much about them. Obviously, American species of bird I don't know much about. But they start roosting in the house, and they never do that. So, of course, they're very interested in the fact they're roosting in the sort of attic of the house. And they're up there recording. And this is where it starts to turn, this story, because the wife starts to hear more voices. And then she starts to see things. Some of the creepiest ghosts, sort of like, because that's the thing about me. I honestly do not believe in ghosts at all. I've never really believed in ghosts. It's not saying that I don't agree with, but saying about a ghost story that gives me the chills. It does scare me. It's weird. You can't like not believing in something but that actually scares you, even though you don't believe in it. I suppose it's like, I mean, to explain it to a friend of mine, I said, like, well, my friend doesn't like spiders. And I said, but you know they're harmless. In this country especially, spiders are completely harmless. There's not really any that can do you any damage at all in this country, so why are you scared of them? And to me, it's like, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't think there's such thing as ghosts, yet still a ghost story scares me and gives me the creeps. This one did that very well. Now, the fact it is quite late, I mean, at the minute it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm doing this review. I was watching it sort of like the half one point, and I got the proper creeps, like shivers down the spine, proper creep me out. So, the first time she sees the ghost is the silhouette of the boy in the bedroom, and it's all dark silhouette, and it looked creepy as hell. So she keeps seeing this ghost. Her husband don't believe her. Well, does not believe it, he just doesn't think it's real. And then we get the heart of this story. Because as she's starting to see these ghosts and experience this stuff, the husband's like, well, I don't get how you can't cry for our daughter dying, but you're worried about this family. And then we get the bath scene, which is creepy as hell. So she's in the bath. She starts hearing a banging on the door. She then looks into the water, and this boy is in the water of the bath, like dead, drowned, up, looking up at her. And then the door swings open, and the ghost mum comes in screaming, like, "What have you done?" And oh my god, I ain't gonna lie to you, I went proper cold, like proper. I saw that bit. So if you think about the couple, the relationship between the couple is obviously very strained since the death of their child. You can feel the heartache in these poor people and the stuff they're going through. You really can feel it. Really sort of like, it's a horrible situation. Obviously, he's put a strain in the relationship. They're not like like a couple of scenes where Andrew Lincoln tries to sort of get more close to her, and then she just shuts him down. So then we move on to the ghost stuff. So we find out when the caretaker island comes back, the woman sort of like has a bit of a heated conversation about like what has happened in this house, and he says that the mother was there with a child, isolated for a long time, and she killed the child. She drowned him, and then killed herself. So now we know that what's happened. Like she's drowned the kid, realised what she's done, and then killed herself, and that's horrible. So then the mum, so the wife and the husband and wife have an argument. Rick from Walking Dead walks out and like goes, and the woman's left on her own. And she goes up into the loft again to record these birds, and she sees the child again. And this is where she sort of thinks, you know what, I'm going to fix this. So she goes downstairs. We get Ghost Mom chasing them again. The kid's in a room by himself, and she ducks down and says to the kid, like the woman, sorry. So Ghost Mom chases them. Ghost Mom disappears. And she ducks. So the sort of main hero of this tale, the woman, ducks down with the kids. So I have to talk quietly because my kids are asleep and I don't want to wake anyone up. She ducks down and says to the boy, look, because the boy keeps saying he's cold. Obviously he's wet and he's cold because obviously he's drowned, so his spirit is wet and cold. She says to him, look, come into the light, it's warm in the light. As soon as she said that, I had massive poltergeist vibes. My son just coughed. I had massive poltergeist vibes and had that. I got now that she's saying come into light, not as in, because she's standing in the sunlight, the light with the window going through. And when she says come into light, she's talking about sort of the afterlife light. So they sort of go into the light, children, all are welcome, sort of thing. So she's like, come into the light. And as the boy runs her to give her a hug, she goes to embrace him. And as he hits the light, he fades away. So I'm guessing he's gone into the afterlife and he's sort of left that spiritual stuff. Sort of the trapped in the house thing. And then she hears a scream, so she runs upstairs. And the mum's standing by the window, the ghost mum is standing by the window, looking at her hands, going, what have you done? And then she throws herself out the window and disappears. Then we get like the wife of this story is now crying. She goes downstairs, calls her husband on the radio, because there's this sort of thing they do on the radio. It says to him like, I've cried. And then he's all happy, and they sort of have this moment where you sort of know everything's going to be okay with them now. It was such a lovely ending to this like story. And to me, that was a fantastic story. Start to finish, I was into it. I was watching it. I was zoned in. It held me. And I'm glad that was the one they ended it on, because it's a lovely story. It's an emotional story. And it gets you. And it got me with the fear shiver factor. And it got me with the emotional side to that story. I love that episode. That is my favourite episode of the whole series. I'm glad they ended on that one. Very much different to the one previous. You saw my review on the one previously, which I did not care for at all. I'm so glad they ended on this episode. Fantastic job. So now I've done every episode of this series, I will be doing another video where I sort of rank my favourite episodes in the right order. You probably already guessed what they are from the reviews, but I'll give you my favourite episodes and I'll tell you what my overall view of the series is. And I'll see you on that one. I hope you enjoyed watching these, and I hope you've watched them before I've told you what happened in them, because if I've spoiled it, I'm very, very sorry, but I did put spoilers in the title, so. But you've enjoyed them too. If you have, write in a comment. If you want to put some comments in there about what you thought, let me know. But like I said, on the next video, it's going to be a sort of my ranking. And if you want to put your rankings in there, what your favourite ones are, and like and tell me about your favourite one. What is your favourite one? Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys soon for tomorrow night. I might do it tomorrow night. See if I get time tomorrow night. I might do it tomorrow night. Anyway, have a good night, guys, and enjoy the rest of your day tomorrow, and I'll see you soon. I might even have a shave because this is getting really long and shaggy. I look like a right scruff bag. Anyway, guys, I'll see you soon. Good night from them, and good night from me. Goodbye.